Good morning and welcome to the second part of our lesson 8, where we are talking about the charitable deeds. Let's get right on with the lesson. Teachings of the Church. There are many apostolic teachings exhorting on social justice and the role of church in charitable deeds. There are several social teachings of the Church written by the popes across centuries. Let's take a look at them. These 13 are some of the social teachings that are available starting from Rerum Novarum by Pope Leo XIII. And even now, after this book was printed, there are 3 other books which we will be taking a look at. So there are totally 16 books or encyclicals by different popes or a collection of bishops which talk about social teachings of the Church. We shall go through the book one by one, looking at who wrote it and what the title is, and a brief description of what the book is going to be about. Again, this is not part of your syllabi. This is only for you to know about the books. What are the social teachings available? The first one is Rerum Novarum by Pope Leo XIII. In English, it's translated to Rights and Duties of Capital and Labor. It was written in the year 1891. This book discusses the relationship and mutual duties between labor and capital, as well as government and its citizens. The second book in this chronology is Quadragesimo Anno, which means in the 40th year. This was written by Pope Pius XI in the year 1931. This book discusses the ethical implications of the social and economic order. The next book in the lineup is Mater et Magistra, which translates to English Mother and Teacher. This was written by Pope John XXIII in the year 1961. The title Mother and Teacher refers to the role of the Church. It describes the necessity to work towards authentic community in order to promote human dignity. The fourth book in this chronology is Pacem in Terris, which means peace on earth. It was again written by Pope John XXIII in the year 1963. The rights and obligations of individuals and of the state, as well as the proper relations between states, are discussed in this book. The fifth book is Gaudium et Spes, which means joy and hope. This was written by Pope Paul VI in the year 1965. This document is an overview of the Catholic Church's teachings about man's relationship to society, especially in reference to economics, poverty, social justice, culture, science and technology, and ecumenism. The sixth book in the series is Populorum Progressio, which means the development of peoples. This was written by Pope Paul VI again in the year 1967. It touches on a variety of principles of Catholic social teaching: the right to a just wage, the right to security of employment, the right to fair and reasonable working conditions, the right to join a union, and the universal destination of resources and goods. The seventh book is Octogesima Adveniens, a call to action, written by Pope Paul VI again in the year 1971. The book discusses themes such as securing democratic foundations in society, the role of individual Christians and local churches in responding to situations and injustices. The next book in the lineup is The Ministerial Priesthood, Justice in the World. The author is a Synod of Bishops. This book was released during the Synod of Bishops. It's a collective encyclical written in the year 1971. The book discussed the issue of justice and liberation of the poor and oppressed. It called for more countries to share their power, for wealthy nations to consume less. The next book in the lineup is Redemptor Homines, which means the Redeemer of Man. This is the starting of the several encyclicals written by Pope John Paul II, and this one is in the year 1979. The book lays a blueprint for his pontificate in its exploration of contemporary human problems, and especially their proposed solutions found in a deeper understanding of the human person. The next book written by Pope John Paul II is Laborem Exercens, which means through work, in the year 1981. Laborem Exercens is a sustained reflection on the meaning of human work. In this document, he is more interested in looking at social teaching in the light of the concept of work than in formulating new norms for a changed social situation. The next book written by Pope John Paul II is Solicitudo Rei Socialis, which means a social concern. It was written in the year 1987. The book deals once more with the theme of development along two fundamental lines: the failed development of the third world and the meaning of conditions and requirements for a development of a worthy person. The next book in the lineup, again by Pope John Paul II, is Centesimus Annus, which means the 100th year. This was released in the year 1991, 100 years after the first Rerum Novarum was released. Written in 1991 during the last days of the Cold War, Centesimus Annus specifically examines contemporaneous political and economic issues. The encyclical is partially a refutation of Marxist or communist ideology, condemnation of the dictatorial regimes that practiced it. The next book in the lineup, again by Pope John Paul II, is Evangelium Vitae, which means the Gospel of Life, in the year 1995. The book deals with issues pertaining to the sanctity of human life, including murder, abortion, euthanasia, and capital punishment, reaffirming the Church's stances on said issues in a way generally considered consistent with previous Church teachings. This is a very important book that deals with human life. Those are the total number of books which are considered important to the social teachings. A few more have been added since then. These three, written by our previous Pope, Benedict XVI, and our present Pope, Pope Francis. Let's take a look at these books as well. The book written by Pope Benedict XVI is Caritas in Veritate, which means Charity in Truth, in the year 2009. The book contains detailed reflection on economic and social issues. The Pope points out the Church does not offer specific technical solutions, but rather moral principles to inform the building of such solutions. The second book in this lineup is Evangelii Gaudium, written by Pope Francis, which means the joy of the gospel. It was released in the year 2013. This book touches on many of the themes of Francis' papacy, including obligations Christians have to the poor and the duty to establish and maintain just economic, political, and legal orders. And the last book in this lineup is Laudato Si, which means Praise Be to You, again by Pope Francis in the year 2015. The book critiques consumerism and irresponsible development, layman's environmental degradation and global warming, and calls all people of the world to take swift and unified global action. These all come together as the social teachings of the Church, right from Rerum Novarum to Laudato Si. There will be many more such encyclicals by further popes when the need arises in the modern world. Continuing on with our lesson, the charitable deeds of the Church. There are various types of charitable deeds that are done by the Church. 12 most important of them are mentioned here. Number 1, orphans and children and elders who are rejected from their own houses, the old who suffer from lack of help or presence of their children and relatives, the sick and the dying, the physically challenged persons, the helpless and the neglected due to mental retardation, the mentally sick persons, exploited women and children, AIDS and cancer patients, the poor and the homeless, those who are neglected in the community and those who are denied justice, those who suffer from war, natural calamities, etc. And finally, the prisoners and those who are released from prison and their dependents. These are all the several charitable deeds that are carried out by churches all around the globe. I want to show you a few videos here about orphans, children, and elders who are rejected from their own houses and how people have set up orphanages or help to these kind of people. These are not necessarily Christian based, but nevertheless they are people with good hearts who are trying to help these people out. Let's take inspiration from them.
Known as the mother of orphans, Sindute Satkal has devoted over 40 years to raising over 1,400 children. Now, aged almost 70, she runs 5 orphanages, 2 for boys, 2 for girls, and even 1 for cows.
माझं कुटुंब फार मोठं आहे रे. हजारो लेकरांची माय, 282 जावयांची सासू, 250 म्हणजे 49 सुना, 250 गाईची आई. अरे मोठं कुटुंब आहे माझं.
Despite only having a basic level of schooling herself, Sindute has always maintained the importance of education for the children she raises, and many have gone on to be doctors, lawyers and engineers. Unlike conventional orphanages, The children don't have to leave when they reach 18. Instead, they stay until they get jobs or are married.
मी 2 हाताची 4 हात करते, संसार बसवून देते. 18 वर्ष झालं म्हणजे सरकार म्हणते त्याला हाकलून द्या, त्याचं काही घेणं देणं नाही. 18 वर्ष झालं म्हणजे त्याला अक्कल आली नाही. खरं म्हणजे त्यावेळेसच त्याला गरज असते मायेची.
बरं झालं त्यांनी आईवडील दिले नाही. आईवडील दिले असते तर त्यांनी कदाचित एवढं प्रेमही नसतं केलं, एवढा जीवही नसता लावला, एवढ्या हजारो भावंडांमध्ये राहायला सुद्धा मिळालं नसतं.
26-year-old Vinay was taken in at 1.5 months old by Sindhute when she found him abandoned at a railway station.
लहानाचं मोठं केलं आणि इथपर्यंत पोहोचलं. आता 1 डिसेंबरला माझं लग्न करून दिलं माईंनी. छान संसार सुरू आहे. सगळी माईंचीच कृपा. माईंच्यामुळं माझं एवढं म्हणजे जर माई नसत्या तर आज मी इथपर्यंत पोहोचूच शकलो नसतो. एखाद्या रेल्वे स्टेशनवर असतो किंवा वेगळ्या क्षेत्रात गेलो असतो. जे प्रेम दिलं आहे ना ते भरभरून आहे. तिची मायेची सावली तिने आम्हाला अक्षरशः फुलाप्रमाणे जपलं आहे. माझ्यासारख्या हजारो पोरांना. म्हणजे
हेच की माईंनी भरपूर जणांना सांभाळले, तीच गोष्ट चांगली वाटते की ज्यांना आई वडील नव्हते त्यांना माईंनी एक आसरा दिला.
Sindhute has 4 children of her own, and her daughter Mamata has spent the last 10 years running one of her centres for boys. Inspired by her mother, she graduated in psychology and did her master's in social work.
म्हणजे आपली भूमिका ही मी संस्था चालक म्हणून स्वतःकडे बघत नाही, मी राखणदार म्हणून स्वतःकडे बघते. ह्या भिंत इमारतीपासून याच्या आतमधला जो प्रत्येक जीव आहे त्याची सर्वतोपरी राखण करण्याची जबाबदारी माझ्याकडे आहे. त्यामुळे मी तो राखणदार हाच रोल माझा आहे इथे.
त्याला जाणीव ही असते की आपण खूप मोठ्या दुःखातून आलेलो आहे आणि आता आपल्याला आईमुळं जे विश्व नवीन बघायला मिळालं आहे ते खूप चांगलं आहे, ते खूप सुखाचं आयुष्य आहे.
Like the children she's taken in, Sindhute herself has had to overcome many challenges. She was married aged 10, had 3 sons by the age of 20, and was cast out by her husband when 9 months pregnant with her daughter. Having delivered her daughter herself in a barn, she survived by singing for food on trains.
भुकेने जग शिकवलं, भुकेने गरिबांपर्यंत पाठवलं, भुकेने जगणं शिकवलं, भुकेने पायात बळ दिलं.
कसे लहानपणापासून मी आईला पाहत आले. म्हणजे जर मेन फरक सांगायचा म्हटला तर मी कधीच एका ठराविक कुटुंबाच्या साच्यामध्ये लहानाची मोठी झाली नाही. माझं 12 वर्षाचं आयुष्य तर वसतिगृहामध्येच गेलं. पण त्या सुट्ट्यांच्या दरम्यान जेव्हा कधी मी घरी गेले तेव्हा नेहमी माझ्याकडे एक गोष्ट होती की आई ही घरातला मुख्य कर्ता माणूस असायची.
संकटावर मात करायला शिका. आणि माझ्या संकटाने मला आयुष्य दिलं, नाव दिलं, प्रपंच दिला, लेकरांची माय व्हायला शिकवलं. बाळा, संकट आली, संकटाचे आभार.
Sindhute has won many awards and has even been granted honorary degrees. She receives no government funding, relying on private donations, so she still maintains a grueling public speaking schedule.
भाषण नाही तर राशन नाही, भाषणावर माझं राशन हवं आहे. आणि पुरस्काराची भाकरी होत नाही. पुरस्कार 750 आहे पण त्याची पोळी नाही होत, रोटी नाही होत बेटा.
Sindhute hopes her legacy will live on, not just through the centres that she and her family run, but through her example, and many of her children have been inspired to go into social work, including 18-year-old Pratibha, who was taken in 16 years ago.
माई जे सगळ्यांना जो जिव्हाळा लावतात ना ते मला आवडतं. माईंचं बोलणं आवडतं मला. आईच नाही तर ती सर्वस्व आहे ती माझी.
म्हणून ते दुःखातून तवून सुलाखून आलेले लेकर आहेत. ते उद्याला माझ्यापेक्षा अधिक चांगलं काम करतात. पावते वाहत जाते, समोर दगड आला तर ती त्याला टकुरा आपटत बसत नाही, हळूच वळसा घालून जात आहे. संकटाची दगड येतील, वळसा घालून जागायला शिका. हे माझं सांगणं असतं बेटा. बरं.
मेरा नाम सुरेंद्र कौर है. हमारे 3 बच्चे हैं. कॉलेज के टाइम में मैं नेटबॉल और ड्रामा सोसाइटी की कैप्टन थी. शादी के बाद मैं कपड़े सिलती हूँ और ट्यूशन पढ़ाती हूँ क्योंकि मुझे और मेरे हस्बैंड को अपने बच्चों को स्कूल भेजना है और हम दोनों को साथ में मेहनत करनी होती है. हम एक छोटे से किराए के घर में रहते हैं. बच्चे खुश हैं तो हम भी खुश हैं. मेरा नाम सुरेंद्र कौर है. कुछ वक्त के बाद मेरे और मेरे हस्बैंड की उम्र ढलने लगेगी. हमारा बेटा हमसे हमारी सारी प्रॉपर्टी ले लेगा. वो एक दिन मुझे मेरे घर से ही बाहर निकाल देगा।
मुझे कहता था माँ बाप बड़े लालची हो, आप इतने लालची हो, आपको तो ईंटों से प्यार है। एक बहुत बड़ा मेरे को धक्का लगा इस चीज़ का। मैंने बड़े प्यार से इसको पाला, बड़ा करा और पीछे पीछे फिर के इसको पढ़ाया। पर अब ये अंधेरा मेरी आंखों से ये सारा दूर हुआ है कि ये सारे घर का मालिक बनना चाहता था और मुझे कोने लगा के मेरे से घर के कागज़ लेके, और अब आदमी तो मैं हूँ, तेरा पति चला गया, अब मैंने इसका सबका मालिक बनना है। ये मुझे व्हाट्सएप पे हड्डियों की मटकी दिखाता था कि ये एक दिन तेरी ऐसी हो जाएगी, तू इन ईंटों का क्या वो कर रही है, इसको घर को क्या करेगी, ये तो तेरे पास रहेगा नहीं, कितनी देर तू जी लेगी। उस टाइम जब मेरे को घर छोड़ के जाना पड़ा तो सबसे बड़ी दुख की बात मुझे ये लगी कि अगर मेरे पास दूसरे बच्चे ना होते तो मैं एक ही होता तो मैं सड़क पे होती।
मेरा नाम मुकुंद शर्मा है। मैं अपने 3 बेटों के लिए कड़ी मेहनत कर रहा हूँ। जब मैं 80 का हो जाऊँगा तब क्या ये मेरा साथ देंगे? मुझे नहीं लगता। इसकी जगह बस पास मेरा लाइफलाइन होगा। अदालतों के चक्कर काटने होंगे, बेटों के खिलाफ मुकदमा लड़ना होगा। हर दिन बसों और अदालतों के चक्कर काटकर थक कर वापस मैं घर को आऊँगा।
मैं 544 नंबर में जा रहा था तो रास्ते में मैंने उससे रिक्वेस्ट किया, मैंने कहा मुझे सीट दे दीजिएगा। तो कहता सीट नहीं है। मैंने उसको बोला मुझे आप मुझे ये लड़की को हटा के अपने पास सीट दे दीजिएगा। कहता ये नहीं हटेगा। बाद में उधर की वो टिकट चेकिंग वाले आ गए, उसने फिर उनको डांटा, जो कि तुम्हें शर्म नहीं आती, तुम्हारे फादर से भी ज़्यादा उम्र होगी इनकी।
हमारी लड़कियों से उन्होंने पूछा भी हम तुम्हारी मम्मी को वहाँ छोड़ आए। छोटी लड़की आई थी लाजपत नगर, हम तुम्हारी मम्मी को छोड़ने जा रहे हैं, आपको कोई इतराज तो नहीं है? वो कहने लगी नहीं आपसे। तो मैं अपनी लड़कियों की सिला से आई हूँ यहाँ, उनसे पूछ के आई हूँ। आगे अभी हमारा यही घर है, यही रहना है। बच्चों के पास नहीं रह सकते तो नहीं रह सकते, रोने से क्या है? उस भगवान की तरफ ध्यान करो जो हमें आगे जाके काम आना है।
The youngsters are only interested in what they can get, not what they can give. Whatever you have to do on your own. Don't go over there, don't visit them, don't stay there for a longer period. For a short while they can tolerate you. Later on they'll find that you are a big burden and then leave everything else upon the Creator. He who has given you birth, He look after you till you go.
My name is Sabina Solomon and my orphanage name is Angels Orphanage, and it is run by me. By God's great help and faith, it is running. Actually, this was not named after my daughter. My husband's wish was that he wanted to open an orphanage in the name of angels. So when he died, when I got an opportunity to open my own orphanage, I named it as Angels, and obviously my girl's name was also Angel. But that's what everybody is telling, but my husband's wish was that. Because of my husband's wish, I started this in Angels Orphanage. We have around 50 children. These children all come from a very poor families, underprivileged children. So my day goes along with the children's. We cook, we eat, we laugh. Sometimes we even cry sometimes. If I need anything, we go in prayer, but I need this. I don't have a single pie in my pocket. I don't know what you're going to do, but something has to be there in my pocket. Please help me. So God, I don't know in what way He does, but somehow He'll send somebody. It's a miracle only, but still, I believe in Him. I have a great faith in Him. He should. We are doing it for a cause. He knows what sort of a children's, because He's the owner of this place. He's the mediator between me and the donor. So He has to do all the things. I put all my burdens on Him. I take my cross, go to Him. That's it. Whoever wants to do anything, I want them first to come to this place, see our place, interact with my children, then they can decide what they want to do towards us, how we are living, because they have to see. Asking is different, but when they come and see the reality, what is happening over here, then God will shower something inside their mind so that they can come and do something for us. That is all I ask. That's it. Want to live for the children, serve the children, live for the children.
Wanted to give you an activity here, activity number 2. So what I wanted to do here is prepare a report on any one of our institutions where charitable deeds are done. So institutions, I mean like orphanage, old age homes, etc. And please try to note that the institution must belong to our eparchy. So take some institution. I think we have done something already related to this. Don't take the same institute that you have taken previously. Try another institute, look at it in a new perspective, and talk about what they are doing as charitable deed for those people in the institution that you are choosing. That is activity number 2. Moving on with our lesson. To conclude, the church is intent on seeing the face of Jesus in all the people who require our help and accept them without any distinction of wealth, caste, creed, religion, or sex. We can cooperate with the church and offer our services for the charitable activities of the church. Let us involve ourselves in these charitable deeds by donating money through our sacrifices, prayer, and visiting the house of destitutes and such other institutions. I'm sure we used to do visits to orphanages and many other institutes regularly when we had our classes, but right now we do not have any way of going to meet them in this COVID situation. So another way of charitable deed that you can do for them is either by donating money for them, donating money to their institutions, or sending them perishables that they might require, food, vegetables, anything that might be of help to them. We can send those through help from our organizations or committees in the church and do these kind of small works as charitable deeds for the church. With that, we can end the lesson here. Thank you for listening to this class. I will see you next week. Thank you.